Hello again. Week 0, I think. It's lunchtime nearly on Wednesday, and I finally got back down to Esperance. I had a weekend of birthdays, but also everyone's poorly, or being poorly, or recovering from being poorly, or getting poorly. We originally hoped we'd have this week Kelly and I together on the boat to do a lot of work, and the kids would stay with her parents, but yeah, they're not well and the kids are not well, so yeah, just about to go on board. As you might have guessed, the boat's not in the water yet, and we've missed this spring tide, but that's fine. We sort of always knew we might miss this one. I had a meeting with the guy, Richard, who runs the yard here, and said it looked more likely it was going to be the Easter Springs, which is now what we're working towards. Just been chatting to Dan, Kelly's cousin, and the few brackets just been finished, so hopefully he's going to get that in the post in the next day or so. And then actually all the technical jobs, it's just about done. The boom needs to go back on. But yeah, hopefully still got a couple of weeks before the kids are going to move on. So, let's keep going. It's good to have a deadline. That's what we've done all along. Keep pushing yourself with deadlines, and you miss the deadline, but you get close to it, and because of that effort, you at least make progress. The reality is, very slowly we are ticking off jobs. So real focus now needs to be head down, stern toilet reconnected, get the galley working, and then we're in a situation where we can move on and just enjoy the adventure day by day. So to get back into it today, started with a couple of quick wins. One of them was this, which is now absolutely solid. This binnacle, forehand, I don't know if I had a video of it, but it could move, it could twist. This plate here wasn't firmly attached to the rest, and this plate supports this handle, and it was jack stay thing there. So with Andy's help, that's all sorted and secured. It was actually just a case of replacing the bolts, which was fine and easy and nice. And then the other thing we've done is secure the piano. This is not like Atlantic fix. I've got plans for Atlantic fix piano, which is like another level of fixing. But what we have got is 6 M12 bolts going through, 3 on each side, to the bulkheads either side of the piano, which almost strengthens the enclosure around the piano itself, because the piano's basically becoming part of the fabric of the boat, a bit like the batteries over there. I'm just overly worried about the piano because it's a piano. Like the battery bank, I'm not as worried about because it's a battery bank and it's supposed to be on a boat, whereas this is like, shouldn't be on a boat, so if that comes loose, it's my fault. Does that make sense? But I would say it's as strong as the battery bank is now, so I'm not really worried, but I have got, as I say, plans for Atlantic fitting. The boat being completely upended upside down, the piano is not going to shift a millimetre. So I spent the last hour or so faffing with these cutouts because the work surface wasn't quite deep enough, and it's taken a long time because everything's had to be completely routed perfectly square, so that I can biscuit joint it all together and turn it into a completely seamless worktop. So it's things like that, which I didn't really need to do, but when would I ever do it? I didn't do it right now, and I've got all the materials out, I've got the tools out, so it's just like, get it done, spend the time, make the job look really nice, and it does look good. So I've got one tiny other bit just at the back over there I want to fill in. There it is, just there, showing the screwdriver. And then all the bits are made, and I'm going to go find somewhere dry to sand and oil these worktops finally. Long anticipated mega moment, the last big thing on the list. So, after lots of time, after 3 separate people I tried to get help me with this P bracket, the final person we realised we had someone would keep it in the family, which was Kelly's cousin Dan, who knows a thing or two about engineering. He's built this for us. Let's see if it works. I just built you up there, Dan, I realised. Look at that. Look at that. That is a serious chunk of weight. Oh. So that's what was originally there. And the big driver for changing this is, for this diameter of shaft, these are normally 160 millimetres long. This is 80, precisely half. And I was advised very early on by an engineer, because it's so short, it would wear out very quickly, particularly given the length of our shaft. And originally we weren't going to worry, because it was like, well, it's lasted 25 years. But the bearing that was in there was knackered, it'd gone, and it hadn't been in there long. And that's going to be a situation where we keep having to change it over and over again. So then it was like, okay, originally I was going to get this extended, modified, and the tradesmen were a nightmare, in short. And 2 people, one after the other, who were trying to help me with it, gave up. Then I chatted to Dan about it, and he said, well, let's just make a new one. And that was great, because it also meant we could redesign it to create a bigger space between this and the propeller shaft, which has allowed us to put that big fancy rope cutter on, which I'll show you guys of the week. A win. Next thing is to put it on the boat and see if it actually fits. Remove the old temporary P bracket. The test of time quite well, that. Oh man, if this doesn't fit, what a palaver to get this far. That way. Oh! Hugh, you nincompoop. Oh. Didn't think about that, did I, when I designed the fucking thing? Oh. Oh, my brain is so small. Oh. I've got such a tiny brain. I put this front leading edge on because I thought it looked smart. I thought it looked tidy in the drawings. Oh, that's good. And I thought the water will flow over it better. Very important, this tiny part. And yeah, give it a bit more strength and look nice and sharp. But of course, I can't get it on with the shaft in place because it's supposed to slide on forward. This is such a massive turd. Anyway, it's all fixable, but I've got a choice basically. I can make it so that you have to remove the prop shaft and then put the P-bracket on and then put the prop shaft back in. The whole point of this is that the P-bracket's removable, which I think means you don't have to remove the shaft to service the cutlass bearing. So I think the better thing to do is to do a bit of machining work on this new P-bracket to get it so it'll work. Oh, I'm so annoyed at myself. I'm going to solve this the old-fashioned way, brute force and ignorance, as my dad says. Like, you only need about an inch of deflection. So we've got over 4 foot of prop shaft sticking out, so quite a lot of movement in it. Yeah, it's about 20 mil it needs. I had this dream of the engineering being so perfect that I'd just like bring the new P-bracket, slide in, bolt it up, 20-minute job. It's in, and in fairness it does look pretty strong. It also looks really weird and unboat-like. Like, I've never seen a P-bracket like on a boat. But the reason it can't carry on straight down there is because there's not room for the rope cutter, and we did think about, pushing the prop shaft back, which would need either like a spacer thing or a new prop shaft and stuff. And I chatted to a lot of people, got a lot of advice, and even though it's a bizarre solution, it's actually a good solution. We're happy with it, and now it's in. So no one's ever going to look at it again. It looks all right. It's just a bit odd. I've managed to get 3 of the bolts through, and one of the bolts is going to need a drill going through, just because it doesn't quite line up. So yeah, I will get the engineers to look at it next week when they come. They're going to put the rope cutter on for me and inspect all the stern gear and help put the prop back on. So hopefully they'll be happy with this and be like, yep, that's safe and that's sound. But yeah, for the most part, fairly successful day. the forward 2 bilges pumps are connected up, all wired up, which is great, and the wiring's in. The main bilge in the underneath the engine, should have got it done today, but the float switch was the old float switch, which I thought was okay, and it's not okay. So good that I'm replacing everything because it shows that everything's knackered, but I'm going to order that. So next week we can do that. And we talked through the jobs with Ben. Next week he's going to hopefully, before we float, get a cooker wired up and get all the 24 volt pumps in there, essential, and reconnect the mast as well with all the wiring. Got a first coat of oil on all the work surfaces. They're looking really lovely. So I'm just going to put another coat on first thing tomorrow morning, another coat tomorrow night, and that's my 3 coats, and then just leave it for another 24 hours so it can dry, really go off, which is good. So yeah, all in all, a bit tired, it's okay. And I thought I'd have a quick win now. Lovely Victron touchscreen. And I'm going to mount that on the wall up there at the back of the galley, which is a case of drilling 3 holes and a few other holes. So I'm going to make sure I don't drill into pipes. I need those to not have holes in them. I want it to be pride of place. Slap it in the kitchen so we can always monitor exactly what electric we're using. Don't have to do that, but it's just fun. So I'm going to put it up there. This is the handy little installation template for the Victron unit. So I'm going to pop that now up there. Thought I'd take a line off this door frame here, use it as my square to align the Victron unit, the panel I'm putting in. So the question is, which square shall I take? That one or that one? Boats are great. There you go, quick win achieved. Just wanted to get that in. I keep having moments of just like stressful times in your life, moving house. This is a bit more than moving house. It's all good. Just got to keep ticking off jobs. Like, I wouldn't even think twice about taking the kids camping and having much worse living conditions than this. So it's like, it's not even that bad. By the time the kids are on here, they're all going to have beds, and we're all going to have a working kitchen and a working bathroom and a nice big sofa to sit on. It's fine. And it's just like, we're just going to have to get used to a new life, new way of living, and then slowly keep improving the domestic. So it's like better and better, looking neat, looking tidy, everything functioning, loads of storage. Whew. Getting a bit like, it's okay. We've got this. We've just got to keep going, keep our head down. This is not a normal thing to do. Oh, we could just be sitting in a house and grumbling about the price of electric. Or we could be here trying to become this like amazing self-sufficient thing that can go anywhere in the world. And that's what we're trying to do. It's alright, it's all good, it's okay. Right, this is one of my favourite t-shirts. I've had it since uni. I remember going shopping with my mate Dave and we bought this t-shirt. And it was cool, right? Because it's basically 2 t-shirts. It's got like an inner layer of white and an outer layer. It's like, yeah, it's like a 2 t-shirt and 1 type thing going on. Anyway, today's a day after like, I don't know, 15 years, maybe more. I'm going to say goodbye to my t-shirt. Reason is, it's beautifully soft, 100% cotton, and it's perfect for oiling the kitchen work surface. We've got 2 more coats with oil to do. I mean, it is, granted, it's getting towards, like there's a few, like, holes and stuff. That's a lot of armpit there, isn't there? So it's getting towards the end of its life. Like, if I wasn't going to use it for oiling now, I'd probably only wear it for 2 or 3 more years. I'm a little bit sad to see it go, but I know it's going in a good cause in the service of Danish oil and a beautiful kitchen worktop. I'm having to work quite hard today to not let the absolute absurdity and like ridiculous of what we're trying to do, like the fear of that, take control. It's all good. I've got to keep applying my rational brain. Like, humans, we're prone for a bit of fear, right? We're worried about things, and it's good to have fear, and that's good. But the rationale is, everything we're doing, it's okay. It's all cool. We're going to look after our kids. They're going to be safe. We're going to be happy, and that's going to come first. Healthy, happy, safe. You know, whatever we're doing, we're never going to compromise on that. But this boat is super safe, super solid boat, and from an engineering standpoint, by the end of next week, she's going to be good. Anyway, right now I am just covering myself in foam dust because this insulation bits, Andy did it all a while back for me, and then a couple have fallen out and I've mislaid them and stuff, so I've just put the cover back in, and I'm going to run around with a can of spray foam just to lock them all in, because it's probably not going to get the ceiling lined. I'm going to do that all the way through this forward cabin so it's all insulated, and like some of that will drip down, but that's fine because you let it dry, you scrape it off, it's all tidy. So what an absolute mess. I've got little bits on me, like I'm not too bad. Oh, some of my hair, nice. Oh, and my boots. But yeah, check this out. The point of that exercise was I got a big multi-pack of like out-of-date foam ages ago from the internet, and I just used a couple of cans there, and just all that insulation in the roof won't fall out now, so even though I haven't put the lining in yet, that's all gonna be held in by that foam, which is cool. So tomorrow Kelly can run around for 20 minutes with the multi-tool and just trim it all off, trim it all back, and that'll all be fixed in position. And that's another job which wasn't actually on my sailing away list, but it's gonna make my life a lot easier, because if these keep falling out, then that's a faff. And it takes the pressure off to get the roof lining sorted, which we will get sorted eventually, but you know, we'll get around to these things. Just measure this bed, both at the base and 4 inches higher, and on the roof is a big bag of foam. So I'm going to go up there and open it up, mark it up, and start cutting it. That's the first layer. So the first layer is going to be 4 inches thick. Then there's a nice squishy layer, 2 inches on top of that. Right, time to get this as flat as I can and then mark it up. For those that don't know, this is the best tool for a bit of DIY foam cutting. I've borrowed them for the last 2 boats when I built beds, but I finally went, no, I've got loads of beds to make on this boat, I'm going to buy my own. It's nearly in. Time to finish cutting this foam now, but yeah, it's the faffing method I'm going to go for. When you take a little bit off and have a look, take a bit more off, have a look. On this boat we've got angles going everywhere. It's another example of working on a boat and the difference, the step up, I've gone from like doing barge work to now working on a sailing yacht. That'll do for now. Just had a big tidy up, and I'm quite excited because I've made the bed and the bow, I'll show you, and got really nice and tidy and ready, and in a moment I'm going to head off over towards Southampton, and then I'm going to pick up Kel from a gig, which is going to be great. I'm really excited to have her here. I've not seen her in a few days anyway, but also just like, it's a bit like getting my teammate back, you know? This whole project's been great, and we've really enjoyed it and we learnt loads, but a big part of it is that we've been separate loads and loads for the last year and a half, 18 months. Been a huge amount of basically one of us looking after the kids, and one of us working, whether that's music gigging or working on the boat. And that's one of the reasons why we're such a rush to get back on and get living on the boat. It's going to be tough, trying to keep working on it and building and all these projects to keep going on whilst we're all living on it. But that's how we did Tukulele, that's how we did the Dutch barge. And every week I just snuck in bits and pieces whilst we were educating and looking after our kids and just being a happy family. So yeah, I know I'm going to get grumpy and cross when I've got to step on a bit of Lego or clean up just so I can do a bit more work. But at the same time, it's going to be really lovely to be all together again, all the time. Because that's why we had a family, that's why we had kids, you know. Like the homeschool thing's pretty intense, it's pretty full on, but we had kids to enjoy spending time with them, and that's what this whole adventure is all about. It's about enjoying the kids while they're young. You know, they're going to get older, they're not going to want to live in a tiny little space with us, but for the next few years they're going to enjoy this, and we're going to enjoy this, love them to bits, so it's all good. So yeah, I'm excited to get my teammate back tonight, and then tomorrow I've got a list of jobs me and Kelly are going to do. There's no wind in the morning, so we're going to do a bit of stuff on the mast and the boom, get that back on, and then in the afternoon I want to get on this IKEA and do that with her, ready for the work surface to go back in next week. And then we've got the rest of the week, just got to finish off the P bracket stuff, the stern gear, and then it's just trying to get the boat livable for the kids when they arrive and ready for getting in the water. Torchlight tours. So that'll do for tonight. Ignore the crazy scary stalagmites, one of the two, made out of pink foam. We'll cut those down tomorrow. Yeah, so it'll be a comfy bed, and then in the next week or so I'll make sure the other two beds, well, the three beds are all made up in the same way. At least comfortable, at least safe, you know, that sort of thing. And yeah, as long as we've got electric and water and galley, then we're all good.